Welcome back, nerds. Today, we are going to learn about behaviorism theory. It is also called behaviorism learning theories. The behavioral theory holds that all behaviors are learned through environmental interactions. It asserts that behavior is learned from the environment rather than influenced by innate or inherited factors. Behaviorism emerged as a reaction against introspective psychology in the 19th century, which relied mainly on first-person accounts. B.F. Skinner and J.B. Watson rejected introspective methods as subjective and unquantifiable. Skinner, Watson and Ivan Pavlov are considered to be the pioneers of modern behaviorism. Key theorists are Ivan Pavlov, B.F. Skinner, Edward Thorndike and John Watson. According to Watson and Skinner, if they were given a group of infants, their environment and upbringing would determine their behavior, not their parents or genetics. Here learning occurs when the learner is subjected to stimuli. Pavlov used dogs to demonstrate a conditioned response to outside stimuli, using food. This theory can be considered a conditioned reflex or classical conditioning theory. One significant theory proposed by B.F. Skinner is operant conditioning. This theory claims that the consequences of behaviors will determine future behavior. The consequences of positive and reinforcing behavior will increase the corresponding behavior. However, consequences that are punishing will decrease behavior. Now let's have a brief discussion on behavioral learning. It breaks down a task into smaller segments. It demonstrates active learning through hands-on exercises and demonstrates the preferred search behavior. In this theory, students respond immediately to questions that arise during quizzes. By praising correct answers, behaviors are gradually shaped towards desired outcomes. Students develop their skills by repeating the exercises until they have mastered desirable search behaviors such as quotation marks, Boolean commands, and truncation in database, search strings, or the elements of a specific citation style. Now we learn about important theorists under behaviorism. One of the most important theorists is John B. Watson and his scientific theory of behaviorism. John Brodus Watson was an American psychologist who popularized the scientific theory of behaviorism, establishing it as a psychological school. Through his behaviorist approach, Watson researched animal behavior, child rearing, and advertising, as well as the controversial Little Albert experiment and the Kerplunk experiment. His book Behaviorism was published in 1924. In his book, Watson discussed his ideas regarding what language is, which led to a discussion of what words are and, finally, to a discussion of what memory is. Watson believed that psychology should primarily be observable scientific behavior. One of his most famous research topics was conditioning. The next important theorist is B.F. Skinner and his operant conditioning. Skinner was an American psychologist, behaviorist, author, inventor, and social philosopher. Skinner developed behavior analysis, especially the philosophy of radical behaviorism, and founded the experimental analysis of behavior, a school of experimental research psychology. He also used operant conditioning to strengthen behavior, considering the response rate the most effective measure of response strength. Now let's talk about operant conditioning in detail. It is also called instrumental conditioning. It is an associative learning process through which the strength of a behavior is modified by reinforcement or punishment. Moreover, it is also a method for bringing about such learning. Stimulus means something that stirs or urges action. The reward was a stimulus for the effort you made. Positive and negative reinforcement increases the probability of behavior they follow, while positive and negative punishment reduces the probability of behavior they follow. Another procedure is called extinction. So the question is, what is positive reinforcement? In positive reinforcement, a response or behavior is strengthened by rewards, leading to the repetition of desired behavior, the reward is a reinforcing stimulus. For example, suppose your teacher gives you a bar of chocolate each time you complete your homework. In that case, you will be more likely to repeat this behavior in the future, thus strengthening the behavior of completing your homework. Now, what is negative reinforcement? It is the termination of an unpleasant state following a response. This is known as negative reinforcement because it removes an adverse stimulus that is rewarding to the animal or person. Negative reinforcement strengthens behavior because it stops or removes an unpleasant experience. For example, if you do not complete your homework, you give your teacher a fine of 100 rupees. You will complete your homework to avoid paying 100 rupees, thus strengthening the behavior of completing your homework. Another aspect is positive punishment. It is also referred to as punishment by contingent stimulation. It occurs when an aversive stimulus follows a behavior or response. For example, the pain from a spanking would often result in a decrease in that behavior. Positive punishment is a confusing term, so the process is usually called punishment. Another term is called negative punishment or the penalty. It is also called punishment by contingent withdrawal. It occurs when the removal of a stimulus follows a behavior or response. For example, taking away a child's toy following their undesired behavior would decrease the undesirable behavior. Another important term is extinction. This effect occurs when a previously reinforced behavior or response has lost effectiveness. For example, rats are first rewarded for pressing a lever many times. Before the experimenter stops rewarding them with food, the rat would typically press the lever less often and eventually stop. When this occurs, the lever pressing is said to be extinguished. Another important theorist is Ivan Pavlov. He is known for classical conditioning. Ivan Pavlov, the Russian physiologist, is known chiefly for developing the concept of the conditioned reflex. He was known chiefly for his work in classical conditioning. So what is classical conditioning? It is also known as Pavlovian or respondent conditioning. It is a behavioral procedure, a biologically potent stimulus, for example, food. Food is paired with a previously neutral stimulus as a bell. Classical conditioning was first examined in detail by Ivan Pavlov, who conducted experiments with dogs and published his findings in 1897. It can be said that two stimuli are linked together to produce a new learned response in an individual or animal. Classical conditioning is distinct from operant conditioning, through which the strength of voluntary behavior is modified by reinforcement or punishment. Pavlov predicted that the dog would salivate in response to food in front of them, but he observed that they salivated whenever they heard the footsteps of his assistant, who was bringing them food. In behaviorist terms, food is an unconditioned stimulus, and salivation is an unconditioned response. In Pavlov's experiments, we can find some terminology. The unconditioned stimulus is represented as US. A neutral stimulus is presented as NS. The conditioned stimulus is represented as CAs. And the unconditioned response as UR. And the conditioned response is referred to as CR. So that's all for today. In our next class, we will learn about constructivism, humanistic, and connectivism. So don't miss the class.